What's going on, guys? Welcome to your 13th Java tutorial, I believe it is, with again me, Travis, and my bring back. What we're going to do in this tutorial is we're going to learn a little bit more about math operations and how things work when we're programming. I know it's kind of boring, but we kind of need to know this stuff, so just stick with me here. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to create an int value. We're going to call this answer. We're going to set this answer equal to a plus b, which are both int values, so that's cool. And then all we're going to do is system print out and save and run, and as you can see, we get the desired result. Pretty simple, and we can also do subtraction, pretty basic. So I'm just going to run through these simple ones here, but let's say we want to do division real quick. So a value is 10, b value is 20, so we should get 0.5. But again, since we're having our answer be an int value, when we save and run this, we get 0. And we're like, what? And the reason that happens is because two reasons, actually. One is the int variable type is super lazy. He's like, dude, you want me to work with decimal places? Are you kidding me? Screw that crap. And the second reason is because, again, it is an int value and it just doesn't work with decimal places. So pretty much it's just one reason. But let's try it with something else. Let's try it with a float value, because again, floats, they're cool. They work with decimal places. So we're going to do e divided by f. So again, two float values, and since our answer is now a float data type, we should get a decimal place. So when we run it, we get 0.4. which that sounds pretty legit. And also, if we wanted to do another value, let's say a double, we can say a g divided by h. We get an error because, again, these are double values and we're trying to say it's a float value. So let's just change this to double. We're going to save this and run it. As you can see, we get this pretty small number, e to the negative 9th. So it's also pretty precise. So again, that's when we use double values. So that's cool and everything. So let's try one last thing. Let's say a long value. And we're going to do c times d. So that's a pretty big number there. And we're going to save it and run it. And we get this huge number down here. So that's pretty cool. So those are the basic math operators. But let's talk about something a little bit different, because before we talked about incrementation. Like, for example, if we said a, let's just type it out real quick. System print out a plus plus. Because again, we did this with our while loop when we were working with Jerome. Hey Jerome, quit humping that doll over there. It's crazy. Stop that. Yeah, when we were working with Jerome earlier, we had this plus plus in our while loop. So, we cycled through 10 times every time we added to it. But let's print this out, see what happens. So we're going to save it and print it. And we're getting this 10 value right here. And we're like, what? That's crazy. Originally a was 10. I thought we added to it. But again, when we increment, it's going to print out what it is currently. So right now it's 10, but then we reset a to equal 11. So if we did system print out again, or I'm sorry, system out print. Yeah, just get used to me saying system out or system print out, because I do that a lot. But let's say we want to print out a now. So let's save it, run it, and we have 10 and then 11. This is our second system out print. Because after we've printed it, then it's going to add to it. So let's say we want to actually figure out what 11 is, or I'm sorry, what a is after we add to it. So let's increment before we print out. So we're going to add 2 plus signs. Again, that's just adding basically 1 to our current value. We're going to save it and run it, and now we have 11. So that's kind of a concept that you guys kind of want to know, because right now it's adding to our value before we actually use that variable type. Because again, our a value is 10, and since we put these 2 pluses beforehand, that means it's going to add 1 to our variable before we work with it. So it'll print 11. But if we do the pluses at the end, it's going to print out our variable, and then it's going to add to it. So it's going to use our variable and then add 1 basically. And we can also use decrementation. I believe I'm saying that right. I don't know. You're never talking to your friends and they're like, hey, here's $1 of the $10 I owed you. You're like, okay, I'm going to decrement your debt by $1. You know, who uses that word? But that's what it's called basically. So we can use the same operator. Basically, now we're subtracting 1, but since we're doing it again after we print our variable, it's still going to print 10. So let's save it and run it. And as you can see, it says 10, but anytime we use a down below, it's going to be equal to, 9, because we, subtracted 1 here within our system print outline, or basically wherever you use this variable here, or this math operator here. So hopefully that makes some sense, but also just to kind of clarify a little bit, we can also decrement before our a, and now it's going to print out 9 because we're subtracting 1 from the variable type. So let's save this, run it, and we should get a 9. That's pretty much it for this tutorial, basic math operators and all that good stuff. So again, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next tutorial. Hope you have a good one. See you later. Peace.